Aaron Nola will start the Phillies' first game out of the break against Pittsburgh. Some updates for you guys on the injury front, though, because as we're talking about the All-Star break, Zach Wheeler and Ranger Suarez, who were both invited, are not going to attend at all. So Zach Wheeler, we know he left with back pain. It was back spasms that were causing the problem when he left Tuesday's game. So he is going to be out. Ranger Suarez also dealing with back pain. Now, neither of them are going to be placed on the IL because the Phillies aren't expecting them to miss time, especially because we were at the break.
Right.
And that is the encouraging part. For each of them, the timeline is this. They're expected to start in the second series back. They will not be playing against Pittsburgh. They're expected to be ready against Minnesota. Zach Wheeler played catch in the outfield Sunday morning before the game. And then for both of them, of course, with a 4-day break, they're going to ease themselves back, take some time to rest. For Ranger Suarez, his back tightness, he said he's not concerned. He thinks that a couple of days of rest will do and that he'll be back healthy and ready for the second half of the season. It's a shame because he does, of course, wish he had a chance to play in the All-Star game, but he said he felt pinching in his back during Friday's start. We knew something was off. His velocity of his sinker was a career low, around 90 miles per hour. The 2 innings that he really struggled, especially that third inning, it was not the usual Ranger Suarez. And now we know why. His command was off, why he's been struggling, why his numbers have been dipping. And he's been dealing with a pinching and back tightness for him. So the other side of it, as we talked about Friday postgame, this is the most that Ranger has pitched through this point of the season pretty much in his career. He is 52 innings ahead of where he was at this time last year. And as we talked about, there's only 4, I think was the final number we found, 4 seasons since he's already at 114 innings pitched. There's only 4 seasons total he's pitched more than 114 innings.
Sure.
So where Ranger Suarez is at now makes complete sense that he's dealing with a little bit of a nagging injury and a little drop off in his career because he's in uncharted territory. And yes, his ERA went from a 1.75 to a 2.76. Oh man. But now this is a great chance for him to get healthy and get back. JT Realmuto is expected to be activated in Minnesota. He will not most likely be ready against Pittsburgh, Rob Thompson said. Spencer Turnbull is going to be out at least until August with that lat strain. He is making progress. And then Taijuan Walker, who's still dealing with that blister, he's actually getting back into his rehab assignment. So he threw a bullpen session Saturday. Rob said he looked great. He is scheduled to have another bullpen session Wednesday in Arizona, where he lives. And then he's going to get back to a nice rehab assignment that will have multiple starts on a rehab assignment before returning to the Phillies rotation. So the expectation that we might see is a 6-man rotation at times in August and September as they're trying to make sure to get these guys back healthy.
Yeah, I think that makes sense as you're trying to get Taijuan Walker back. The Turnbull injury, you talked about a timeline. It's almost a little bit more concerning to me than I initially felt like it would be.
Yeah, it's taking a little longer than I thought.
think you're going to see Tyler Phillips get some starts along the way. You might see some bullpen games along the way as well. I would be hard pressed to see Michael Mercado gets a start quickly after the last 2 or last 2 outings.
They might call somebody else up instead, to be honest.
It's certainly
and
plausible.
give somebody else a chance.
I think your other option will be Colby Allard.
Colby Allard does have a 3.09 ERA, 33 strikeouts, 7 walks in his last 32 innings. He was on my top of my list.
And so I think he's probably your other choice. Talking about Ranger for a second. So assuming most starters make about 32 starts a year, he has 13 more to go before the season ends. If he would have to pitch 6 2/3 on average per start to reach 200 innings. We talked about the 200 inning mark at the beginning of the year. I'm not certain he makes it to 200 innings this year. I think they're probably going to ease him back in a little bit. You might see a couple of 5-inning starts to, post All-Star break. Even if he's pitching well, you might just see like a slow progression back towards ramping him back up. But so I don't think he gets to 200, but I think he probably gets to 180 to 185.
I think given his history, I think you're right.
That's a significant jump.
It is a major jump. It's a major jump. I mean, the last, what was it, what year was that? He pitched 156 innings.
No, it was 155 in 2022.
155. Yeah, like he notoriously is under 150. That's the most he's ever pitched. So we're not talking about jumping from 180 to 200. Like you're jumping 50 innings that you're going to be pitching more.
And in reality, it's 75 if you're just thinking about last year.
Yes. And if you're looking at how much he's pitched already, he's gone 7, 8, 9 innings at times to have complete games and all that he's done so far. he's also like moving faster in the start of the season. Like I think they're gonna have to slow walk this a little bit more.
I think you're right.
As much as we've talked about it, they've talked about the same thing. He is in uncharted territory. He's not at the same spot in terms of like Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, who are used to pitching more and know how to manage it a little bit better. So I think you are right that we're going to see Ranger possibly get pulled a little bit quicker as the season progresses.